This week on In the Field, going to the harbor in Oceanside, California for some blue hour work. Hi everyone, my name is Scott Davenport and thank you for joining me this week on In the Field. So I'm back out at Oceanside. A few weeks ago I'd been to Oceanside Pier shooting at sunset and met up with Blayden Thompson, another local photographer here in the area. Met up with Blayden again, but this time for the harbor in Oceanside. So, nice boats, bit of restaurants in the background. One has like the obligatory lighthouse type shape, which you seem to find at almost every harbor. But it was really nice, very quiet because it was early in the morning, well before the sun came up, blue hour time. And well, let's just have a look at this on the maps and then a little bit of the video from the shoot. Here's San Diego to the south, and along the coastline up to the north is Oceanside. And there are several little nooks and crannies of harbor along Oceanside here. Zoom in here, you can see. You've got an inlet, you've got the more man-made structure harbors here. Big pier coming out, or sorry, jetty, not pier, coming out from here. I focused on the South Harbor, and before sunrise, so the sun coming in from the northeast, more or less, so from the point I'm facing, it'd be coming over my left shoulder. Let me move over to the 3D maps here, and let's zoom in on Oceanside here. There we go. So here's the various harbors. And this is the South Harbor, North Harbor. We're standing right around this spot here. So the sun's coming in. If I'm standing here and facing this way, right? Let's turn around like that. The sun's coming in from the left. And 3D wise, let's do that again. Thank you, Apple Maps, for that. You can see there's all these different boats here. There's different angles you can get all the way up and down through here. We really stayed right at this spot here because along these edges there's some restaurants and the buildings behind. So these areas here, it's hard to make out. This is a little bit of a lighthousey type thing, but they all give you some other background interest.
The Oceanside Harbor this morning, taking some shots of the boats and these restaurants with this cool little faux lighthouse in the background. It's about a half hour before sunrise, so there's going to be some really nice blue tones and some good reflections in the water. I'll show you one of the shots actually just finished up here, so the camera just finished taking that one there, so you can see you've got some good blues in there. I'm shooting at f11 to get all the detail here, and because it's so early I'm in bulb mode, so I'm shooting I guess about a 45-second exposure. I've changed up composition a little bit and just moved over 7 feet to my right to take a different angle on this little harbor here. And something I'm playing around with as I shoot is one thing that is a problem is the boats are moving. And so if you're doing a long exposure, at this early hour, 20, 30, 40 seconds, you get blur in the boats. So I'm playing with the ISO and upping the ISO on the different shots, and I'll show them to you here. These are straight out of the camera. And the higher ISO, it's doing a great job of freezing the motion. You're getting quarter second, sixth of a second, tenth of a second shot. But what seems to be getting lost is a bit of color. You don't get that slow drip of color into the frame.
One of the things you need to deal with when you're shooting either in low light, longer exposures in a harbor like this is the boats are going to move, right? You saw that in the clip, and I mentioned that as well. So something that you can play with is your ISO settings, pumping those up, and you'll freeze motion. But what I noticed is it would lose some of the color, so the longer exposure, I don't know how to describe it, like the color drips into the camera more slowly and becomes a little more richer. At least that's what I noticed versus a quicker exposure with a higher light sensitivity. So here's two images taken just moments apart. The first one is the long exposure, and you can see where the boats are moving, and so they're blurry. And then the second one is with a higher ISO, and it was coming in, I think at about 1/6 of a second, if my memory serves. And you can see the boats are frozen, but the colors are a little duller. And so the idea that I have for these is, what can I do in post-processing where I might be able to get the benefits of all those rich colors from the long exposure, but maybe blend in the image that's taken at a higher ISO to free some of that motion and get rid of the blurry boats. I have not yet processed this images, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out, but that's the idea. And so that was one of the things running through my head while I was out taking these shots. So obviously I can't share the processing side of this just yet because I need to go do it. And if it does work out well, you'll certainly see a video posted for it, and then it will be something that you can use in your photography and maybe even improve upon the technique. And if you do, please tell me how it goes so that I can improve my technique too. So that is it for this week in the field. If you have questions, you have comments, please leave them below, shoot me a message. You can contact me through various social media. All my links are on my website. I'm most active on Twitter primarily these days. I find that to be the most effective for really nice quick conversations and questions and so forth. So please hit me up. Let me know what you think. And until next time, keep on shooting. I hope that these are helping you make better photos for yourself.